themselves, so compared to the Lodi. And so this might be what you're gonna do. So you're gonna clip your edges. Okay, we're gonna have a light spray. Now, depending if it's, you know, weather-wise outside, I'm gonna do a heavier spray. And I'm gonna come around to this lateral border, and I'm gonna kind of get the whole area that I need to do, okay? So we'll let that get a little tacky. Now what you'll need is what I prefer is your 8-inch coverall stretch, because that, if you just, again, you're not gonna ever cut into the box, you're gonna cut across it. So analyze, you know, what do you think you need to cover their arch? And that's usually the good amount of length that you'll need. Plus there's a little stretch, so if you need a little extra, you can just give the tape a little pull and you'll get the length that you need. So what we're gonna do here is you're gonna come around to the lateral border, and I'll show you this in a second. Okay, so just show them that. So we wanna be on the foot, on the lateral border, like that's her 5th met right there, okay? We wanna be on the lateral border because we know the Leukotape's gotta go there. So what you don't wanna do is put this too low and then you have nowhere to attach your Leukotape, and your Leukotape's actually coming onto the bottom of the foot. If you guys can't see, come around this way so you can see where the placement is. Okay, so once you've got this high enough on the foot, then we're ready to wrap it around to the other side, okay? So we need there to be some area of some coverall there. You see that? So right here is the 5th met. It's right there. That styloid is sticking out at me right there. So you got to make sure you've covered that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring her back and we're going to just come right up the arch. Now your point right here is going to be the navicular. And so we want to make sure that we have that covered. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we're going to go on an oblique axis towards her malleoli. Okay, so that's our aim right there. Okay, now depending on the size of the foot, you might have to have a wider piece of coverall. The smaller the foot, you can make that a little bit more narrow. You also have the option to use your pre-cut 2-inch, but what I'll tell you about the 2 inches is no stretch in it. So you're gonna have maybe a few dog ears in there, okay? So I prefer cut, if you need this exact, then just cut it from there and use the stretch to help you, okay? So then from there, all we need is, what I do is a quick measurement of the size I think I need. I'm gonna need 2 of those. So if it's a bigger foot, I'm gonna need 3 of those. If it's a foot that needs more support, I'm gonna need 3 of them. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna attach the piece to this lateral border. Again, her 5th met's there. If I pull too hard, I'm either gonna pop off or I'm gonna pull her 5th met with me, and we're gonna create an issue at her 5th metatarsal. So we don't pull yet. This is just a placement. I'm gonna come around, but you're gonna see that thumb right here keeps the tape in place, okay? I don't pull through it. It's just there to keep it in place so it doesn't pop off. I'm gonna come around, I'm gonna supinate her a little bit, and then my tension comes now. I'm gonna come and give her a little tension. I'm pulling the tape this way, and then I'm gonna just lay it down, aiming towards the malleoli, okay? You don't wanna go past the malleoli because then you're gonna pull the fibular head downward, and that's not what we want, okay? So if you guessed wrong with your length, just stop and snip it off instead of crossing the malleoli, okay? From here, we're gonna do it again. So now I've got, okay, I know I got her navicular in there. I've got it. So now what I need to decide, do I wanna go a little more posterior? Do I wanna go a little more anterior to get her base of the first? I think what I'm gonna do is a little more posterior here. I've got her in supination, pull, place down. And now I've got her covered, okay? If I felt like it was appropriate, remember this tape can actually touch the skin a little bit. I could go here, and I'm still on that coverall though. And now I've given her a third piece just in a slightly different position. I've covered most of her arch now. Okay, now an athlete who's going out with this could just go like this, or if you felt you needed to wrap it, you could put a little pre-wrap and some light plaster around it to just hold it in place. But most of the time I just have them put their sock right on, their shoe right on, and it sort of, that glue is starting to adhere to her, and so it should stay on just fine. Okay, so that's our navicular unload. The one thing I see people do wrong is they don't get the tug, the pull, and it's just like they're laying down a piece of tape. The other thing I see them do wrong is they come across the metatarsals like this. Okay, all you're doing is compressing the metatarsals then. So we want to try to follow the oblique axis. Now you might want to say, well, I'm going to give them a little bit more support and I'm going to follow the oblique axis like this. Okay, that wouldn't be wrong because you really followed the way the foot was going. We don't want to just start wrapping the metatarsals though. Okay? So that's how it should look, a little bit on an oblique axis, between 2 and 3, maybe on a bigger foot, 4 strips. And we're gonna make sure that this finger, this thumb always holds down the tape to create the tension so you don't just pop off or you don't pull the 5th met around with you. Okay, so that's an important component. Make sense?
One question. So for when you apply the base